In this video, I just want to walk through some demonstrations of things to avoid when making top-down assemblies. So here's the base of my vise. I've started and I realized I missed this fillet. So if this were a part, I could normally select this edge, tell to make the fillet. I'll set the size to 0.125 and I'll say OK, and I've made the fillet. But what's really important to note here is the fillet's not actually part of this part. See, it's here in the feature tree below the mate groups. That's your first hint that something's not right. And if I right click on this and I tell it to open the part in its current position, we'll give it a second, we'll see there's no fillet here because the fillet wasn't added to the part, it was added to the assembly. So we want to be very careful when we're editing our parts that we don't do things like that. So I'm just going to close this and tell it not to save it. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete that. So I'll say yes. If I want to add something I missed, or anytime I want to edit a part in the assembly, it's important I either select it in the feature tree or here in the graphics area, and I say I want to edit the part. And now I edit the part, and I know it's being edited because it's all blue. So now I can select this. I can add that 1/8 fillet. Say OK. I can stop editing the part, and the fillet's part of that. So again, if I right click on it, say open part in position, I'll see the fillets there, and it's part of my tree like I want. So I'm going to Control Tab back here. So we want to be careful when we're adding features in the assembly, working in top down, that we make sure we're editing the part before we add features. So the other thing I want to point out, if I right click on this, there's the option to save the part, and then in brackets says in external file. Currently when we save it, it's only saved in the assembly, which is fine, but if you want to make a part drawing from it, and typically we do, we have to save it externally. I would encourage you to do this almost as soon as you create the part, because if SOLIDWORKS crashes or something goes wrong, the power goes out, you'll lose a lot of work, and you don't want to do that. So I'm going to tell it to save the part in an external file, and by default, it'll save it where I've already saved the assembly, or I can specify a new path. I can also just say, no, just save it internal to the assembly, but I don't want to. I want to save it externally, so I'm going to say OK and accept that path. So now SOLIDWORKS is telling me that this is updated. That's what the star means, and I need to resave it, so I'll just rebuild and save it.